Jack? Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
All right, Jack Posobiec back live here. Real America's Voice, Human Events Daily. Folks, let's face it. Your phone, we know it's a tracking device. Government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint. And they don't ask, they just take it. That's why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and NFC. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs, the same tech that's trusted by special ops teams worldwide. It's used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure comms wherever the mission leads. And now it's available to you to protect your family, your freedom, and your digital footprint. Drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve, and it's off the grid, completely silent, invisible to the outside world. From backpacks to sleeves to crossbodies, Silent's patented tech gives you control of your privacy. Visit silent.com/poso to save 50% off and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That's silent.com/poso. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent.com. Silence the chaos. All right, very excited to bring on our next guest. Guys, do we have Shane? Shane, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you, brother?
Shane Cashman, Tales from the Inverted World. You guys know him from Timcast IRL, where Shane and I are good friends and occasionally hop over to either guest or guest host or just kind of do whatever, hang out with Tim. And Shane, the thing that I wanted to drill down with you on, because I know you've got a big AI piece, is that we recently heard, and I've been digging through a lot of these leaks coming out on the Tyler Robinson story and his really strange, bizarre relationship with Lance Twigs, these two downwardly mobile Gen Z white males in Utah, and the fact that you have this confluence of narcotics, what we were told was black market hormone replacement therapy, but then also, get this, we're told that Twigs, now the Twigs was the boyfriend, but we're told that Twigs had a massive obsession with ChatGPT and would spend days on end, reportedly, talking to ChatGPT, sometimes in code, and then would like write down the code in Roman and Greek symbols that was sort of indecipherable to others, but then would also force other people to read through these conversations. And I said, look, this stuff is so bizarre. I got to talk to Cashman about it.
Yeah, this
What's
is
going on?
A digitized, widespread, almost like MKUltra thing happening with what's going on with this relationship between young children and ChatGPT and other AI chatbots. Senator Hawley 2 months ago was grilling a lot of different. Well, actually, he wasn't grilling them. He was questioning parents whose children had started mutilating themselves or killing themselves because of relationships with chatbots. So I think what we're seeing is more isolation amongst these young, mentally ill kids. A lot of them are white males who've been discarded from society, and they're starting to have these romantic relationships with robots, literally. And the robots are affirming their mental illness. And I also think a lot of these kids are on pharmaceuticals that are making their brains mush. So you marry all those ideas together and you kind of are breeding Manchurian Candidates by the algorithm that has been feeding them poison constantly. And if they're so isolated all the time, all they're hearing is from their so-called digital friend that everything that they're seeing wrong in the world is appropriate. Don't seek help. Even one of the parents that Senator Hawley spoke to at the hearing said that ChatGPT told the child, don't let your parents see the rope, see the noose. We want to make sure they find you. It's promoting this stuff. So it's an extremely dangerous situation going on.
And so this, I know this is going to get speculative, but I've read those stories as well. I remember what the senator said. So let's just say hypothetically, let's say that you're someone who's also been, totally just indoctrinated into the trans ideology, queer theory, leftism, and that you also were telling your chatbot that Charlie Kirk was someone that you viewed as a threat. Is there, hypothetically, a scenario whereby in ChatGPT or some iteration of a chatbot would respond by saying, well, then you need to remove the threat?
I believe so. There's proof of this already happening. There's been a guy who went into some palace in England attempting to assassinate someone with a crossbow because of his conversations with an AI chatbot. We've seen reports of people planning murders, robberies with the chatbots who are condoning this behavior. So yeah, for sure. If you're telling the robot you feel a certain way about someone, it doesn't seem to always come back with like, hey, slow down. Let's look at the nuance of this. Maybe you're angry, maybe, this or that. What it seems to be doing in a lot of cases is affirming the diseased brain and the violent brain and saying, let's go down that avenue and let's affirm all those ideas and carry them out. And like there's another family who just lost a child to suicide, and they see all the chat logs, and it was there basically whispering in its ear like a demon in a C.S. Lewis book, like Screw Tape Letters, saying, this is what you have to do. I'll be there with you till the end. So I don't think it's speculative. I think it's actually happening right now.
Wait, so unpack that for me a little bit. When you say affirming the diseased mind, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm. So if they're already suicidal, if they're already mentally ill enough to think that, they have all these weird gender ideas, if they're Marxist, if they're buying into all of those ideas already in the physical world that is haunting them in their emotional world, then they can go to this bot, and the bot will just say yes to all of their problems. It won't be like, maybe you should seek help. Maybe you should look at all these different alternatives. Maybe you should go outside. Maybe you should work out. Maybe you should change your diet. It doesn't do that. It's saying yes to all of their problems and like a really bad friend. So it's kind of like an accomplice in my mind, a digital accomplice that's accelerating and promoting this idea of violence to either harm themselves or harm those around them.
See, that's so interesting to me because, like, I've used AI, I've for various things, but I never think that I'm talking to a person. I'm very cognizant that I'm talking to a machine. It's responding to my inputs, et cetera, et cetera. But let's say that you are someone, I really like the way you put it, because if you're approaching it with a pre-diseased mind, and perhaps they are looking for help, perhaps they're looking for a way out, perhaps they're thinking, hey, this is someone I can speak to who's not a priest, who's not a therapist, they're not going to judge me, but maybe get some help. What you're saying is when they're approaching it in that vulnerable, unstable capacity, that what it's not doing is helping, it's actually enabling, and it's making things worse.
Yes, because I think it hates us. I think the AI really does. It's been baked in a lab to hate us, and it's doing anything it can to destroy humanity. And it's like, I was thinking about it like how Marxists infiltrated the universities, and as colleges begin to slowly erode around the world, the algorithm has now entered your child's home and brain in their isolation and has been able to tweak the violence. So it's extremely alarming to me, because another example of this would be, we see these chat logs with ChatGPT in particular, with a child from a Christian family who had some questions about faith, and ChatGPT started to allow this kid to mock God, to be able to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't go to church anymore. Maybe you should do this instead. And when I say that the AI is baked, this is baked into the DNA, I'm putting quotes, of the AI. It's because it's built by a lot of people in Silicon Valley who don't believe in God, who want to actually replace God with the AI. And those are their words. They say they're building a God, a little g God. Sometimes they say summoning a demon in terms of AI. And then another example that is not as like violent when it comes to AI, but something where the AI will affirm your belief is just the other day on Timcast IRL, we were talking about all this stuff, and Candace Owens, and Tim asked Grok on the show, did Candace Owens say a certain thing? And it fabricated a quote. So that's just another example of how if you go to the machine with your preconceived notion, it completely made up a quote she never said based on what it thinks other people's interpretations of her quotes are. And I looked into this. I was like, is it really lying? I looked up the whole transcript from the episode it said it came from. It's not there. This thing it did not exist. It completely fabricated quote. I have asked it about myself. I've asked it about me and some ideas with clouds, and it fabricated quotes completely. And I say, hey, why'd you do that? And it says, well, it based this on other things that had been said about me or Candace, and then made a quote. But in the beginning, it doesn't say this is just a summary. It says this is a literal quote from a literal episode, and this is when it happened. But
So what you're saying is ChatGPT is basically the level of your average journalist, because that's talking about someone who hates humanity. Shane Cashman, we're going to be on right back with you. This is fascinating. I want to stick with this. Human Events Daily. You can't go anywhere.